Again, another horse on the highway. The Treasury Financial Crimes Enforcement Network is looking to collect your information on the beneficial ownership information that you have to report. And I'm there at fincen.gov/BOI facts. And I have no idea. No idea. And I'm one of them that has to do it. Stu, your wife has an LLC, right?
Yeah.
Do you have an LLC?
I believe, I don't remember if it's structured that way, but it was, yeah. I believe
so anyone with an LLC, even if you're not using it, you have to file, right?
Yes, it is every reporting entity. So if you're a single member LLC, an S corp, whatever, C corp, whatever kind of structure you have, if you're not exempted, which means you don't have 20 employees or $5 million in revenue or fall into one of their other categories that they exempted, somebody like a hedge fund, of course, is not included because why would they be, right?
Yeah, there's no money laundering.
Right. So if you have a reporting entity, and that's why I said it sounds like there are other reporting entities like housing associations that may get caught up because they file something with their state. So if you're a reporting entity, you have to file. And I don't know if you noticed on that fincen.gov/BOI homepage that the first alert they had is a fraud alert because, of course, people are taking advantage of this and trying to
because nobody knows anything about it.
So let me tell you about the media. First of all, thank you for being a platform for truth and one that supports small businesses because we've been talking about this. But none of the mainstream media has done anything to alert people to this. However, Glenn, when the state of Alabama Supreme Court said that we're going to rule this unconstitutional, what did they say? This is a blow to corporate transparency. This is going to make it harder to fight the cartels. You tell me what cartel and what money launderer is self-reporting to FinCEN.
Well, let me also say this. We've been talking about a giant crime family that is money laundering for a long time, but because it was 10 for the big guy or 5 for the big guy, he doesn't have to report this because he's already over $5 million. So if you're small time money launderer, then you have to do it. But if you're an honest money launderer, you don't have to file if your money laundering is over $5 million. Unbelievable.
Well, that's the thing that's really frustrating. They have tools that alert them to suspicious activity. There are suspicious activity reports from the banks, which the Biden family had, over 100 of them, I think, on a combined basis.
Yes.
And they did nothing to look into potential money laundering. So if there is suspicious activity or there is something that looks, awry, they have ways to go through the courts to go after that, particular entity. The ones who are massive criminals aren't going to be reporting to FinCEN. So all this is a mass surveillance program against small business. And the penalties, as you said, are insane. It's not just for not reporting, but it's if you don't update. So a woman gets married and changes her name. You move, you get a new driver's license because the other one was out of date. You don't let FinCEN know, they can send you to jail. Why this was ever passed, and oh, by the way, Trump did veto this, and it went back to Congress, and they overrode it. And nobody has done anything to fix this is absolutely insane. There are 33 million small businesses in this country. Why are they being put under a microscope and saying you are criminals, you're financial criminals, and we are going to hold your feet to the fire if you don't let us track you? It is insane.
I got to tell you, I'm just looking at this website. It scrolls and it just keeps scrolling and scrolling and scrolling on what you have to do. I mean, this is as bad as the IRS, if not worse, because none of us have ever done any of this before.
Yes.
You don't even know, can somebody out there, is there an organization out there that can help file this? So the bureaucracy is crazy.
So that's part of the challenge, is that there are accountants and lawyers who are trying to get on top of it. But because everything is so vague and confusing, even they aren't entirely sure what to do. So again, my recommendation is, if you have an existing reporting entity, you have until January 1st of next year. I personally, with my LLC, I am not doing this until the very last minute, because we're working very hard. We're talking with lawmakers. We're trying to get it overturned, at least delayed, so that we have a little breathing room to try to do something. But the problem is that if you start a new business, Glenn, you only have 30 days. And I have heard some rumblings that, this, whatever it is that they're collecting this information is, that they don't have a formal database built yet. Go figure, right? And so, that information is incredibly vulnerable, and that impacts the ability to start businesses in this country. So if you're starting one and you have an entity, if you don't have a reporting entity, you don't have to file something with your state.
What does that mean, a reporting entity? That's an LLC or
something that you have to file information with your state to let them know that you're a business. There are certain people who act as sole proprietors who don't have a business around them or an entity around them. Like you said, an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp, and the like. But if you have that reporting entity, that's where you're getting caught up in this. And it is just absolutely egregious, nefarious, and affront to small business.
I have a friend who has just this week started a new business. Guarantee you he knows nothing about this. And
Yes,
because he's starting a new business, he has 30 days.
30 days. Or he can be fined. He can be thrown in jail.
Is it $500 or $800 a day for every day after 30 days?
Yeah, it's some incredible amount per day.
And up to 10 years in prison.
Civil and criminal penalties for not reporting, or not updating your information. It's not just it's not like you do this once and you're done. You have to remember this anytime you do anything that changes any of the information that would be collected in the system.
Stalin said, "Show me the man, I'll show you the crime," or his Stasi chief said that.
Yeah.
That's what this is. I mean, everybody is, with all of the new guidelines and regulations and everything else, there's no way you can keep up with all of these things. And I think they're intentionally designed to be able to say, sorry, dude, you're a criminal. You did this. Bye-bye. Because people who are connected are never going to have a problem from the Treasury Financial Crimes Enforcement Network.
Yeah, and if you were really concerned about massive corporate transparency or massive scale laundering cartels, then you would be exempting the small businesses and you would be focusing on large companies that have the financial resources and the capabilities to do reporting like the publicly traded companies do. But it's exactly the opposite. So what other conclusion could we possibly draw that you want to surveil what small businesses are doing and do everything you can to hold them down and basically continue to transfer wealth from Main Street to Wall Street?
So when is somebody, can the group that now has filed and they said it was unconstitutional, they can't file because they don't have standing to kick it up to the Supreme Court, right?
So I am not a lawyer. I don't play one on TV. I don't know what the procedure is.
Yeah.
You have to ask a lawyer about that. But there are certainly a number of people who are looking into additional lawsuits. There are some lawmakers who are looking into trying to get this overturned or at least delayed to give, again, some time to rethink it and see what can be done. But in terms of the court, I couldn't believe it's unconstitutional, but it's only unconstitutional for this person who filed the lawsuit.
And
I've never seen anything like that.
Have you ever seen anything like that before?
No,
No. I mean, I'll file for a federal lawsuit. I mean, anybody
I'll join you.
You'll join me?
Yeah,
I mean,
join you.
I have no expertise in this. I have no idea. I mean, but let's do it. This government is completely out of control. If they can do this, and then they also have said, there's no gig workers anymore. Carol, what is that going to do to the grocery shelves when you can't get private drivers to drive trucks?
I mean, this is insane, and it goes against the complete shift in the economy. One of the great things about technology is it gave people flexibility, Glenn, flexibility to work the way you want to work. And that's the wonderful thing about America. Not everybody around the world gets to choose what they do for a living or how they work. And more people want work-life balance. They don't want to be an employee. They want to make their hours. And in fact, when they go out and they survey, like from the government surveys on down, and they survey independent contractors, the majority of people don't want to be employees. They love being independent contractors, and they make at least as much, if not more, than if they were an employee. So the fact that we have the Department of Labor who went around Congress and said, we are going to change the way that independent contractors are classified. We don't want to have these standalone people. We want them to be employees. We want them to be in unions. It's all about big business. It's all about making the unions happy, and it is against capitalism and your own choice, your work, your choice. For the people who are so obsessed with choice and everything, why would you not have a choice in how you present your labor? You and I agree on something. What's the government have to do with getting in the middle and going, I'm sorry, I don't like the way that you guys decided how you want to work
And
together.
let me ask you this, too. You know, Biden is working so hard to get labor unions to grow. And these kinds of things make you say, I don't want to be an owner of anything. I just want to be a worker. I don't want to stick my head out for any risk at all. That's what this does. Then, as they squeeze and squeeze and squeeze, and you don't really have any rights, people will want to join unions, but the unions are in bed with the people that are squeezing you.
It's the great consolidation. It's taking away that freedom, that choice, that capitalism that underpins America, what it is that made us successful, that productivity that we talked about that's going to allow us to continue to grow and at least have a chance to save this country's fiscal foundation. They want to do everything they can to put up barriers. They want to put up barriers to work, to earning a living. I can't, like, if you said this to somebody 10 years ago, 15 years ago,
No way.
they look at you like you were in a bizarro world. Why would somebody
People
want to
did
not
when we talked about it 2 years ago, that it was coming.
Right.
They looked at us like that'll never happen. Well, here it is. Here it is.